Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome to another live stream. Um, if someone's already here, please confirm that you can see me, that you can hear me. I'm going to quickly set up my desktop so that I have the chat right here. And yeah, this comes here. All right. Looks like it's working on my side. But if you can confirm, that would be great. Yeah, I think it works for me. So good evening to all of you. Good evening, Miguel. I see you in the comments. How are you? I'm not sure I know where you are watching from, so I would be very curious to hear about you, about that from you. Sorry. Thanks for confirming that audio and video works. IP, how are you? Good to see you in the live stream. Thanks for joining on Wednesday evening. I'm trying different setups. I did most live stream last month and the month before during the weekends, and now I did last Friday evening and now Wednesday. Trying to see what works for most people to then decide maybe which would be the best day or the best moment in the week. To have a consistency with the live streams. I think that would be good to have a consistency on the same day, same time, just so everyone knows it's always the same moment and everyone can tune in if they want to. So Miguel watching from Spain, good to hear, good to hear, and yeah, so I mean, let's wait a bit for more people. I believe I posted the live stream announcement a bit late, so I don't know how many of us will be here tonight, but I'm already very glad to have both of you here, and I'm quite sure many other people will join. So what I had in mind for tonight is maybe discussing a bit winter gear. I brought a few stuff, and then I thought that you could share also what works for you and what were your good findings regarding winter gear. So that's one thing, and then I have the remaining shoes that we did not unbox last week. They finally arrived after a long trip, so I have them here, and we will unbox them. There are two pairs, I think, in the box, or three, and I know about one for sure. And if you were here last Friday, you know what this pair is, but I'm not gonna spoil it if you were not here last Friday. And the other one, I have no idea what it is, but we shall figure all together. Good evening, Robin. Very good to see you. How is your ankle? I don't know if I saw your reply in the comments thread. And Mike is here. Oh, hey, Mike. In the US, it's actually quite mid afternoon, like 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Good to see you. Good to see you, Mike. Very happy to see you in the live stream. Thanks for joining. Thanks for taking the time. Very happy with that. So winter gear, I believe, is very very relative to places where you live and different weather conditions that you have. So this may be actually a very interesting discussion because the gear that you will suggest, what works for you, may be very specific to your region and may not work for me here in Brussels, and the other way around, what works for me here in Brussels with the temperatures that we have may not work where you are based. I don't know. How is the winter so far in your country, in your location where you are based? Here so far, it has been quite mild. We haven't really had any freezing temperatures. Maybe 1 or 2 days below 0 degrees Celsius, so below freezing temperatures. But other than that, it has been quite mild and humid, which sometimes I feel adds to the cold and humid temperatures, even though they are not too low, like from 0 to 5 Celsius, can feel very cold because the humidity sort of penetrates your clothes, and you feel cold. At least that's how. And year by year, I also feel that I'm being more and more cold in the winter. So I'm leaning towards warmer stuff. Although I'm a heavy sweater, but I'm leaning towards warmer stuff, despite despite the temperatures as such, the number not being that low. So how is the winter in your place? And I think that can also open the discussion for your suggestions about good winter gear that works for you, and relatively to your weather conditions. I see we have Andy from the United Kingdom. Thank you very much for joining. Mike is asking, any ultra shoes this year? I I cannot be 100% sure, but I would like to have them. I have a few models in mind, and of course the Mont Blanc trail shoes, independently of whether that will be the elite version without the boa straps or with the boa straps. But this one looks interesting, and I would like to test it. They have a nice offering for 2022, so it would be a bummer not to have them. No promises, but there's a high likelihood to have them, Mike. Robin Robin says he's literally immune to cold, wearing arm sleeves under his t-shirt, base layer only sub-0 degrees, always in shorts. Wow. I mean, that's great if it works for you. Less gear to purchase, less gear to wash. So that's quite cool. I used to be pretty much the same, but again, with the years passing by, maybe it's aging, or maybe just my body is changing. I am feeling more cold in the winter. And shorts, I used to wear them all year long, and I found that under certain temperatures, shorts, at least they do not offer the protection required against cramps, and I'm cramping a bit easier. Or maybe that's just my imagination, and I linked the cold with the cramps. But wearing tights now, long tights in the winter when the temperatures are really cold, prevents me from cramping. So yeah. Benny watching from The Hague in the Netherlands. Hi Benny. So Andy says it's rainy, it's Manchester, but rainy and what temperatures? Because rainy can feel colder or not so cold depending on the temperature range, but Manchester, I guess it's like 5 Celsius. I can imagine. Okay, so Mike started the sharing, the gear sharing, and I love it. I'm sure all of us will discover many stuff, and here already I can see that I don't know the company. So base layers for Mike are from a company called 32 Degrees. Nice stuff, really reasonable pricing, and it ranges from below 20 degrees to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So 50 Fahrenheit is in the low 10s Celsius, and below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, so freezing temperatures. Okay, 32 degrees. I never heard about it in the EU, but of course I don't know all the companies. So if other people are aware of that, I'm very curious to hear more about them. So what material is it? Because I also discovered that with some materials, some tissues, some materials, I guess it's the right word, work a bit better for me, especially keeping the heat, keeping the body at a nice temperature, and preventing over sweating, because sometimes the materials can make you warm very quickly, but also trigger some heavy sweating. So I'm curious what 32 degrees has in terms of materials, and of course 32 degrees because that's the conversion from Fahrenheit to Celsius. That's the conversion point. Okay, I get it. At least in Fahrenheit, that's freezing temperatures also. August is watching from southern Sweden, 3-5 degrees right now, but he had -10 last week. -10, I mean, especially I guess in Sweden, that dry, although southern Sweden, I'm not familiar with all Sweden, but dry temperatures like snowy -10. I prefer that to some around 0 Celsius, but quite humid. So August, any tips for -10 Celsius? That I would be very interested in. Last winter here in Brussels, we had 1 week like very, very cold, and it dropped below -10. I think we even had like -18 throughout the night. It was in March, which is quite late in the winter season, but -10 degrees, I don't think I have any dedicated clothes to that. I would certainly figure a way to put stuff and it would work. But I don't think I have anything that is dedicated to -10. Robin says during his injury, he was cycling a bit and got really, really cold. But for running, that's different. Yeah, cycling is a bit tricky in the winter, and I'm staying like 99% of the time, 95% of the time here on the indoor trainer, because with the the wind and the relative temperature, oh boy, it can really, really be cold, and you need to have like proper gloves. Gloves is like crucial for cycling in the winter, and even for running. If you are like me and you get your hands cold real quick, gloves are critical. I can start sharing the stuff that I gather here. So my gloves, don't laugh at me, but my gloves aren't running dedicated at all. They are from a company called Carhartt. You probably know Carhartt for working type of clothes. And I have these gloves for like, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years. They're I don't know how it's undestroyable. You cannot destroy them. I put them through many things, and now I actually run in them. I also use them casually, but they're really, really thick. If I put my hand in them, it will look a bit weird, but they're like really, really thick, and I cannot grab anything with them. They are super thick. They don't look super pretty, but they are super warm, very comfortable, and that's just what I'm using in terms of gloves. And I feel like if I have my hands warm, the rest of the body is okay. As soon as I have my hands getting cold, getting freezing, then very quickly it escalates, and my body feels cold just because of that perception of cold in the hands. And so these gloves really help. And I'm not even sure I can recommend any model or anything if you want to check it. I'm not even sure they're producing them anymore. But so just to say that we don't always have to use running dedicated stuff, high-end stuff. These are like very basic gloves, from casual gloves from Carhartt, and they do more than a fine job for running, cycling, at least here in the city. For road cycling, I have other gloves even thicker because these wouldn't be sufficient. But yeah, I mean, sometimes very, very casual stuff like these can work and do a fine job. Okay, we have lots of comments here. So Mike says that the material on his 32 degrees, so 32 degrees is the brand that Mike suggested, recommended for the base layers. Material is spandex type, very lightweight. Spandex type for the lightweight stuff at 32 degrees. Middleweight stuff is a waffle spandex type, and heavyweight is a fleece spandex type. So it looks like 32 degrees, and the name sort of relates to colder temperatures. They have a very broad offering of stuff. I would be interested to check them. I should keep that in mind and do that right after the live stream. Otherwise, I will forget. But I will check them out, especially if they're here in the EU. That would be good to try. Let me drink. Okay. So, Tim, good evening, Tim. As long as the wind isn't bad, minus 10 degrees Celsius is fine as long as you keep moving. Once the wind picks up, yeah, I do agree. Wind and that humidity again. I don't know if there's a percentage of humidity in the air above which you really feel the cold penetrating you and getting, you know, under your skin. I don't know if that's the right expression, but I feel like, when it's very humid outside and even above minus 10 Celsius, you can get really cold. That was my point here. Yeah, and problem humidity in the air says IP, so that's and then of course on top of the cold, you do sweat more in humid conditions, and when you sweat more, you feel cold even quicker because you have that sort of sweat layer on your skin, and you catch a cold real quick. Schlossstadtlauferin, good evening. Hi from Phantasialand City Brühl in Germany. Not really cold at the moment, but under 5 degrees is long, tight weather. Yeah, I do agree. I switched to that as well. So yeah, the word I was searching for, thank you, Randon, was indestructible. That's it. Did I fix the pink lights on your desk? So Randon watched today's video of the Advent calendar about the stride pod, and indeed there was an issue with the pink lights. They're right here lighting the wall to make it look a bit cooler. So yes, they are fixed or just charged. That was the issue here. August says that humidity has been high, so the weather report said it would feel like minus 12, minus 15. Wearing many layers and thick gloves. Okay, interested in your gloves if you have any recommendation for that, especially as I get my hands very cold quickly, I would be interested. Randon Lewis, which should I buy? Endorphin Speed 1 for 117 pounds or Speed 2 for 139. I would save the 22 pounds difference and get the Speeds 1. Because to explain, they are very similar shoes, and yeah, the price difference isn't justified in my opinion. But if other people have different views, very happy to read them. Okay, Mike says he's wearing just enough to be slightly chilled to start, as he knows that once he will be moving, he will warm up just right. Sometimes people overdress, and then you're left figuring out what to do with. Yeah, that's true. It really depends the type of run. For easy stuff, I prefer to be overdressed because I know it won't last forever, and I will be back home just in time to cool down. But for longer intervals in the winter, I prefer to be a bit chilled at the beginning. Yeah. Craft has hybrid gloves, which are gloves but also mittens. That's nice. That's nice. I would fear to make only use of the glove part and not the mitten part, but that's kind of nice. Other stuff that I recently got and actually works quite well is so are you wearing stuff on your head? Because that's the other thing. Head is like really crucial in terms of temperature management, and you can lose a lot of heat through the head, but also in the summertime, which is another debate or discussion. You can also sort of you need to cool down the head if you wanna feel a bit cooler. That's also why, for instance, some marathoners in Japan, they put those ice packs on underneath their cap, and that helps them having the head cooler, and then the whole body temperature remains okay. And before this winter, either I was wearing nothing on my head or just a cap, but now I switched to wearing some very straightforward beanies like this one. This one's actually from Say Sky, which is a Danish company, and it's a regular beanie. I think there's a bit of merino wool in it, but nothing too fancy. And same here. I feel like having the hands and my head feeling warm helps the whole body feeling warm. And indeed, like Mike was saying, when you start the run and you are slightly chilled, even if the torso, the upper body, the legs are a bit chilled, as long as, at least for me, as long as I have the hands, feet, of course, with some proper winter socks or thicker socks, and head feeling warm, I feel like it's okay. And then I can just start moving, and then I warm up, and then it's fine. That's just me. So again, I mean, the stuff that I shared so far in terms of winter gear, and I may do a dedicated video on winter gear, but I wanted to first hear from you also some recommendations, maybe stuff that I've never heard about and try before doing a proper winter gear video. Some very straightforward, like, the beanie isn't anything too fancy. The gloves that I'm wearing, casual gloves from Carhartt. I'm not even sure how you're supposed to pronounce Carhartt, but because it sounds a bit funny saying Carhartt. Yeah, but very simple stuff, and just having those parts for me warm really helps. Why did I start wearing a beanie this winter? I think in the last seasons, when I was catching a cold, it was because of not taking care of my throat, my neck, the head, and then I just felt like it was coming from here. So I took some actions to avoid being sick. So yeah, did it help? I feel like yes, but at the same time, as I said last week in the live stream, I tested positive for COVID, which of course I did not get because of not being warm here on the face. But so the efforts to avoid catching a cold have been a bit I don't know how to say it, but those efforts didn't really pay off, and I ended up with something else, which is not a big deal. I'm doing okay, and that's fine. But yeah, so the idea here was really to try and stay healthy, because as long as you're healthy, you can train and you can keep improving, which is number one, goal. So that's why I started wearing a beanie this winter, instead of just wearing a cap or nothing like I did in the past. What are actually your tricks to avoid catching a cold in the winter when running? Is it just the gear, or do you have any sort of hot drinks that you drink back home, or what are the tricks that you're using? I'm interested. So apparently Salomon also does the very nice hybrid gloves. August confirmed that they are amazing. So if you are into in the market for gloves, I would be if you're in the market for gloves, you can check these. I will check them as well. So I have the hybrid gloves from Craft to check, and also 32 degrees recommended by Mike. Two good recommendations that I will check right after the live stream. Tim says once the temperatures go below 0 Celsius, he likes to wear a balaclava. So for those of you not familiar with the balaclava, I don't have one here to show you, but it's like the whole thing that goes like around your head, and then you have the neck. It's a combo thing. I think it can be useful. You can fully cover up in the face, pull down and cover the neck. That's exactly that's the perfect description. Schlossstadtlauferin, where it's not too chilly, a thin buff to protect the ears, and then some she cut in halves. Okay, I see the idea. Yeah. Beanies for Brandon Lewis, covering the ears, and because he has trouble keeping the ears warm. That's funny, because I never really Of course, now wearing the beanie, I realize my ears are warmer than before, but I felt like catching a cold and having, here the sinus and all the whole nose system getting sick was most likely because of no, the head being cold. Not necessarily the ears, although I realized they are part of the whole nose throat system. So maybe it was the ears for me, but I was catching a cold a bit too easy the previous winters, so I decided to address that with the beanie. Works for me, so it seems like it works also for Randon Lewis. And also Randon uses an ear warmer headband. So do you use the beanie and the band? And how does that work together? The band and then on top you put the beanie? That's interesting. Each set is $14, says Mike, so I believe that refers to the 32 degrees base layers. $14 is a great price point for a base layer. If that's some quality durable stuff, that's a deal. That's a great deal. Um, IP says my problem is getting too hot in the winter run because I have overdressed. Yeah, that's the point that Mikey, sorry Mikey, that Mike made previously, and I prefer to be overdressed for some runs again, like easy stuff. Easy stuff, you're not moving. I mean, I'm not moving super fast for easy stuff, and I don't recommend anyone to move too fast for their easy stuff. Otherwise, it's not easy anymore, and easy is very important, and you have to be slow for easy stuff, recovery stuff. And because you're not moving too fast, I feel like you can very quickly get cold. But so I prefer to be overdressed for that, and then underdressed for some faster stuff. That yeah. But indeed, getting too hot if you're out for too long isn't very pleasant either. Mike, sounds funny, but I wear a ball cap with beanie or ear warmer on top. I mean, it doesn't sound funny. I never tried it, so I may try it. Anything that will prevent me from being sick is great. Because again, being healthy is the most important stuff if you want to keep on training and not be off for a couple days. Yeah, I'm sorry, Mike. I just saw that kind. Mikey is cool. I don't know why, but Mikey looks like Nike written, and of course I know that you say Mike, and I know it. But in the live stream action, speaking a lot, I sort of went for Nike, Mikey. And sorry for that. Toxin 543. Hi Alex. In northern Germany, the temperatures are usually 10 Celsius down to 0 Celsius, but quite humid. Nonetheless, gloves are and a buff is a must. I put the buff in front of my face to warm the air I'm breathing in. Otherwise, I can recommend the Kalenji warm tights and long sleeve shirts and Keepstar 500 base layer. All from Decathlon. They're quite cheap, but the quality is nice. Yeah, I mean, Decathlon, durability isn't always the top thing, and innovation maybe they're really missing there. But for anyone looking for some good stuff, maybe not the best stuff, but good stuff at a great price point, that's the place to go, at least here in the EU. I think you also have Decathlon in the US. Maybe one of you can confirm, but I'm pretty sure you do. And in Asia, I think there's also Decathlon, but maybe not in all countries. I know some countries in Asia that have Decathlon, I think. Yeah, and a good base layer can make the difference. Sometimes a base layer can be enough in itself. I actually have now on me a base layer which I ran in earlier today. It's also from Say Sky from I would say no, not Germany, Denmark, and it's merino wool, and it's really good. I mean, I could run in this one even like mid-season without putting anything else on top. That would be perfectly fine. So good base layer, I think, also makes a difference. Um, those very snug base layer, like almost compression base layers, I used to like them, and I sort of went away because they were a bit too constrictive. But some of them are good. We have that company here in the EU. It's actually a Swiss company, so not really EU, but in Europe, called X Bionic. It's it's really expensive. It's too expensive for what it is, most likely. At least most of their products. The socks are really good. I included some of them in the Mega Sock review, and they have those upper body base layers. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. I mean, I don't have it here, but I could easily recommend it. So yeah, a good base layer. That's cool. Um, so Sandra Perry says, Vasp Tech, is that a brand of winter gear? I don't know. Judson Cake, good evening. How are you? Red Feather snowshoes, great cross training. I'm not familiar with that, but maybe some of you are. August is asking, how many of you are eating some kind of snack directly after your workouts? Have found out 100 calories have done difference for me being healthy and strong. If it works for you, I like to have a full meal after the workouts directly. Um, especially doing two of them most of the season every day, cycling and running, sometimes running and strength training or core work. I like to have, to schedule the workout so that I have a full meal coming afterwards. So I would usually train before lunch and before dinner, or before breakfast and before lunch, or sometimes before breakfast, before lunch and before dinner. And then I have the full meal. It was well for me, and you also have that metabolic window opening right after your session or half an hour after your session, and it lasts about 2 hours roughly. And during that session, your cells better assimilate, better adapt to the foods, to the macronutrients, carbs, proteins that you ingest. So I like to do that. But then if the snack post workout works for you, I think that's fantastic, and just keep on doing that, I guess. Okay, snowshoe running meant Judson. Get it. IP says compress sport, but two sizes, and the tops are too big. Using them for running jackets. Okay, compress sport also they have those like very compressed upper body base layers. Interesting stuff. I also like, yeah, that's a sort of winter tip. I guess it can count in the winter gear live stream. After some workouts in the cold, or in general in the winter, I like to have some hot drinks, like for instance hot ginger and a bit of honey in hot water. That's an easy thing to do. Hot ginger, you can either have fresh ginger and put it in hot water, or have a ginger powder and just pour it into your hot water, a bit of honey, some lemon juice if you want to add a bit of acidity to that. And it's a great, I wouldn't call it any magical recipe, but it works quite well, especially for here the throat if you're a bit cold. The ginger has some nice functions, and yeah. Of course, Mike says chocolate milk after a run. That's a classic, and you have some proteins in there, so that's cool. Also, that's chocolate milk or any snack meal after a workout. Sometimes I don't know if that's how it should be, but sometimes I sort of at some point in the workout when it gets really hard and I just want to finish it, I want to be done with it, I start thinking about, okay, what's the great meal, or what do I have after the workout sort of to feel a bit like it's like it's some sort of thing you're shooting for during the workout, and that yeah, I mean a prize or whatever you call it, but yeah. So fruit smoothie, also that's nice. Smoothies, yeah. Sometimes when I have those like harder, longer workouts and they're just like one after the other, peak volume weeks in the season, I like to do some protein shakes, just using some vegetable, not vegetable, but plant-based proteins and a bit of milk, and that works well. But smoothies, yeah, that's some cool stuff. Okay, that's what I thought. Toxin 543. That's some spam. I don't know how to sort of. Can I report it? Can I block it? Yeah, I think I can do that. Okay. I'm not even sure. I'm not sure. Okay, whatever. Um, okay, I think we can open some. We can unbox some shoes. What do you think? Um, I think we can start doing that, and so then we can also discuss maybe what are your go-to winter socks. I would be curious to hear. So I have this big box. I need to open it because in it I have some shoes. So I'm gonna, I have my knife here, and we can open the big box. I know one pair, and I know many of you know what is that pair because you were here on Friday night for the live stream. But so what are those spams, Randon? I'm so curious. I mean, not that I want to know what they want to sell, what they want to do, but what is it supposed to mean? I don't know. On Tifa, good evening. Smart Wool, PhD socks, Smart Wool for Dots and Cake. I actually know that Mary bought some Smart Wool gloves for the bike. So it looks like Smart Wool is doing a good job at some warmer stuff. Should it be, socks or gloves for the winter? Okay, interesting. I'm not very familiar with Smart Wool. Injinji middleweight socks are go-to for cold weather. Interesting, Mike. Yeah. I actually have right now on my feet some X-Sox socks. Winter Run, they're called. And I think it's a blend of some synthetic wools, synthetic material, and merino wool. It works really well. But also it's thicker. So Ren says, if you Google spam, it says don't click on this, it's a virus. Okay, yeah. Thank you. I will not Google it, but I think I'm a bit too naive in that internet world. All right. So, what do we have? I'm gonna do the opening here. You will recognize the shoe brands. I think. What do we have? We have. One here, I don't know if you can see them. So this one, I know the box, of course, but I don't know the model. I have an idea. And this one, I know the model, and I think you were expecting it because you were here maybe on Friday, and it was supposed to be here, but it was not. So let's start with this one. It's, I think, quite exciting. The other one, we'll see. And I also have some... that's, by the way, coming from Top for Running, our EU partner, some Inside and socks. Thank you for sending them. And let's take this one out here. I think this one is an interesting pair of shoes. Let's see. Yeah, Saucony is the other one. So I had reviewed the Speed 2. So I guess this one should be either the Shift 2 or the Pro 2. We haven't discussed with Top for Running, so I don't know what they sent. Hello, JF. Good evening. Thanks for joining. And I missed some comments there, but let's open this one first. There you go. 3, 2, 1. It's the Adi Star from Adidas. They're sort of, let me just put it here. They're, I think they really market it as a, you know, easy, slow shoe. That's their words. Here you have it, Adistar. It really has that sneakery look. I must admit the look is fine, but it doesn't look like a running shoe. It looks like a sneakerhead type of shoe. I like that sort of star. I don't know if you can call it a star pattern, but I like that. Interesting thing here on this one is that they have some new foams here. And they have the repetitor foam here in the forefoot, which, to be honest, feels way softer than I expected because both foams are EVA based. And here in the heel, they have the repetitor plus. This one feels very firm, like hard. Here, it feels quite soft. So interesting. Not that I think, they say they put the very hard foam in the heel for stability purposes. Yeah, let's see. I don't want to prejudge how the shoe will ride, but it looks quite nice. It feels heavy though. It feels heavy, but it has a very nice price point. So it's 130 euros without any discount, and Adidas has many discounts, so you can get it probably for a very good price point. Which could be a good daily trainer. At least that's how I see it. Very, budget, or is it really budget at above 100 euros, $100? But entry level, a daily trainer. I'm curious to train in it and see how it rides. Okay, many comments here. We have Jaume, I don't know how to say your name, I'm sorry. Hi. In silence doing merino socks, says Schlossstadtlauferin. No, I did not try them, and I didn't even know they had them. I don't think these are merino socks, are they? No, they're not. Damn, I was looking at them as a heavy runner. They look nice. I haven't try them, but I think they would work nice for heavier runners. Yeah. At least that's the look of them, and the width. I think the width will be phenomenal here. I can already, sort of looking at it, I can see that it will be as wide, if not wider, than the widest shoe I have tested, which was the More V3 from New Balance. Adistar, it's as big as the Death Star. It's big. Heavy, yes, I think it's heavy. I don't have my scale here, but I think it's heavy. It's cheaper than the 40 Forward, and it's not very difficult to have a cheaper shoe, and not very difficult to have a shoe that rides better, I think. I'm gonna just grab my scale here, trusty scale, and let's weigh the shoe. That's why we're doing live streams. It's to have the action going on live. So let's prepare the scale. I don't know. The bets are open. Fire away the weight predictions in the chat. I'm curious what the actual weight is gonna be. So drum rolls. Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy. So heaviest shoe I have measured, it was the 40 Forward, and if I remember well, it was like, I'm staring at it right now, 380 or 390 grams. the heavy daily trainers like Nike Invincible is quite heavy. It's 320 grams. Morphe 3 was 333, I think. That's the number that I remember. So yeah, and this is above those shoes. So yeah, try to guess. Try to guess. I don't know what you will come up with. Let's see. Random, can we get a step in first impression? Yeah, I mean, we can do that. That's also one of the perks of the live streams. We can do pretty much anything you want, because that's also your channel, like I like to say. So 340, 350. No, you're a bit too shy here. Come on, let's go higher. It's a heavy shoe. It's not as heavy as the 44 was, if that helps you. But yeah, 360, 359. That's the weight. So yeah, I'm gonna put it on, and you will have a there's a little protection in it. Yeah, so the weight in my size US 11 EU 45 is 359, which is quite a lot. I mean, I don't want to judge the book by its cover and say, you know, thank you, Mike. Thank you very much. So 12.3 ounces, that's the weight in Imperial system. So I just put it on. Feels a bit roomy, but yeah, a bit roomy. That's okay. And I'm just gonna stand to share like some very initial impressions with you. Especially the foam, I'm quite curious how it feels on the foot when I'm gonna step in it. Just 1 second. All right. So you can definitely feel the difference between the two foams. That's very brutal in terms of difference. Sometimes the heel is a bit firmer or softer depending on what they wanted to do, but there's a nice transition or blend between the two. Here it's really like super hard and quite soft. Not super soft, but quite soft, and there's like a big transition, you know, not super smooth transition, but it's gonna be a stable ride. That's for sure. It's gonna be a stable ride. I'm more of a mid-foot, forefoot striker, so I'm gonna be in that softer foam. You know, I think, you know, let's not give a too early an assessment that would be you know, too initial and not accurate, not comprehensive. But I think it's something interesting they have here. Very heavy for sure. Okay, so the conversion is 12.69 ounces. Thank you very much, Mike. I think it's interesting. And look at, I don't know if you can see it, look at that massive heel bevel. And not only heel bevel, but look at how lateral it is. That's really a stability feature here. That's, you know, that's something. It's, I don't know if you can realize how this is. I don't know if you can put something here to show you the central point, but look at how biased laterally this thing is. That's crazy. Okay, I'm gonna put this one through the paces very quickly, because I think this could be an interesting shoe, especially for the price point. It's cheaper than most shoes I just quoted, like Invincible, Nova Blast. More V3 is the same price point, so it could be interesting, I think. Okay. Second shoe, shall we? I'm curious. You know, it's clear that it's the Saucony. Now I know how to pronounce it. Saucony Endorphin line. Is it the Shift 2 or the Pro 2? I'm curious. I'm gonna grab it. Okay, there you go. I don't have the sticker here on this side, it's on the other side, so I haven't seen what it was. Yes, especially with the Adidas discount. Yes, that's true. So this shoe, I guess you could get it for less than $100 for sure. Even now, it's brand new. So you know it could be a good option. Saucony box. I haven't seen the sticker. I don't know what model it will be. Shift 2 or Pro 2. What would I prefer? I think I would prefer the Pro 2 simply because the Pro 3 looks really interesting, big updates, and it would be a good comparison, Pro 2 versus Pro 3 when it releases in July or June. June 21st, I think it is. 3, 2, 1, Saucony box. And it's the Pro 2. Yes, wait a second. Oh. There you have it. Saucony Endorphin Pro 2. It's looking quite bright here on the screen, but you can have a first look. I mean, most of you know, oh, this is really bright. Most of you know the shoe, and this isn't like a fresh release. But I think it's good to have that review on the channel and then a good comparison point against the Pro 3. That's how I see it. And I'm happy that it's the Pro 2 and not the Shift 2. Not that I wouldn't want to, try the Shift 2, but I reviewed the Shift 1 and yeah, I'm happy to have the Pro 2. Randon loves the colorway. Some people hate it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Not my favorite for sure, but I mean, I'm very grateful. Thank you, Top for Running, if you're watching. Thank you for sending it. I'm very grateful to be testing shoes, whatever the colorway may be. So yeah, let's. I wanna just play a bit with it in my hands because I haven't had the Pro 2 here in my hands. Yeah, it's way stiffer in the forefoot than the Speed 1, Speed 2. Interesting. Maybe this is gonna be a shoe for Carbon Data Time Q4, which will be a roundup of 2021. I mean, not maybe, it's gonna be a shoe for Carbon Data Time, the roundup of 2021. Interesting. Okay, that's cool. But I'm almost more interested in the Adistar because of the potential it could have for many of you as a daily trainer. Rob is asking, hey Alex, are you part Italian? No, I'm not. I'm French. My name though sounds Italian, but it's not Italian. So yeah, my parents come from different EU countries, but not Italy. That's how it is. I would like to speak Italian. It sounds amazing, but I'm not Italian. Okay, and so winter gear, back at it. What are your favorite winter shoes? Any stuff that you find really grippy, really nice in some wet conditions, some ice, some snow? What works for you? I'm curious. Recently, I found myself running more in the Fujilite 2, the trail shoe. Even here in town, in the wet leaves that are on the pavement, that works well in terms of grip. Also in the mud. Fujilite 2. What else? But it's a very good moment in the year, for all the reviews that I'm publishing now on the channel. It's a very good moment of the year to test the grip of the outsole, because the pavement, the streets are not super clean everywhere. There's a bit of mud, there's a bit of wet leaves, dead leaves on the ground, and so any shoe that isn't grippy enough, very quickly I know about it. So That's also one of the perks of the winter here in Brussels, testing the outsole grip. That's quite cool. Skechers Max Road 5 works well. That's a shoe that I haven't used in a while now, but I really like it, so I should just take it out again. And also the thing is that, with the shoes that I'm testing, some of them after the test I just never use them again, and some of them I keep because I want to have in my sort of general rotation, but I need to grab them, and once I have them out, then it's hard to put them back in the box because I'm using them again and again and again and more. But yeah, that's a bit how it works. Yeah, Brandon says you might be part Italian, never know unless you get those DNA tests. I mean, yeah, it's everything's possible. You never know. Especially the EU Europe isn't that big in the end, so everything's possible. True Motion Nevus Elements. Phil, that's interesting. I know, Phil, you're a big fan of True Motion. I need to test this. They're on my list. Peck Trail GTX for when snowy and slushy out there. That's a good one. Snow in snowshoes, easy, Johnson cake. Ice, I just screw sheet metal screws into any shoe. That's a good trick. We don't need that here, but I would like to try it just for the sake of screwing something in my shoe. If Mari CTM Ultra, I mean, yeah, the outsole is just phenomenal on this one. Wave Rebellion from Mizuno has a fantastic outsole also. JF living in South Tyrol, in this time of the year, if you don't wear grip, you're going to become really good friends with the earth. Yeah, I can imagine. So what are you using, JF? Hoka Xterra Torrent in mud and trails. And Jaume from Mallorca. No winter shoes because he's from Mallorca and he's sorry for that. No need to be sorry. I mean, the everyone has advantages where they are. That's for sure. Ultra Superior 5 in the couple of days where there was snow, and Philly's recommended the True Motion Solo. So I have a few things to remember. 32 degrees, the Craft hybrid gloves, and True Motion Solo, the model of the True Motion shoe that Phil recommends me to test. I will remember. I will check this out after the live stream. I'm not running anymore tonight. What winter jacket do you use? That's a good question. And winter jacket is tricky because maybe not 90%, but 80% of the jackets out there, they just make me sweat and nothing else. Sometimes they're a bit water resistant, but that's it. My big crush from a few years back now is the Salomon Bonatti. Very good jacket, but expensive. But it's more a rain jacket that can be used in the winter. And this year, the good thing is that I tried these like sleeveless jackets, and that's a good compromise because if you have a good base layer like this merino shirt, you can just put the base layer and then the sleeveless jacket, and it's a good thing for people like me trying to keep warm, but at the same time, I'm a heavy sweater, so very quickly in a jacket I can sweat a lot. And sleeveless jacket or vest, whatever you call it, works well for that because it keeps some nice airflow. I just like it. I just like the sleeveless thing. It's new for me, but I like it. So Salomon Bonatti is a good rain jacket that I'm using in the winter. And I tested some good jackets and some that were not that good. I tested a jacket from S-Lab in which I was sweating just so much. So, Salomon and S-Lab is technically the same thing. And Salomon Bonatti worked really well, but the S-Lab low-end jacket was just a nightmare and sweating like crazy in it. I tested some jackets from Craft. One of them was okay, the other one not so much. Being really transparent with you here, nothing to um, nothing to hide. But yeah, the sleeveless one is a nice compromise. Puma grip is a very good grip. And that's also one of the reasons why in my top 3 shoes of the year I went for the Deviate Elite. The grip there is really second to none. Gillette is the word, yes. All right, Mike, or Mikey, depending. Bye bye. Thanks for tuning in. In any event, we are close to the hour mark, if not past it. So I think we will come to an end for the live stream. But thanks a lot for tuning in on such a short notice here. Wednesday evening in the EU, afternoon in the US. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something about winter gear. I have some nice recommendations now that I'm gonna check. And thanks a lot for sharing everything tonight. I was very happy to see all of you. I was happy to chat with all of you. And I'll be seeing you, well, you'll be seeing me tomorrow in another video of the Advent calendar and hopefully in a live stream in a few days. Thank you very much and take care, guys. Bye-bye.